Morning, Kris. Just to begin with some housekeeping, just confirming that Zach Hyman is good to play today.
Zach Hyman's playing today.
Ekholm as well?
Yes.
And Pickard to start?
That's right.
All right, when you come off that road trip over in New York, 2 wins, of course, what are some of the positives that you hope to extract from that? More importantly, what are some of the challenges that you guys face that you hope doesn't really kind of replicate itself here on this homestand?
Well, I think any successful team it needs to defend really well. And you look at after the break and you look at our chances that were given up, especially 5-on-5, and we're looking at probably between 15 20 a game. And our goal is somewhere about 10 to 12. And I think every game the last 4, we have been at that mark. And so everything, I think, needs to start with our defensive play, and whether that's our line rush against, our reloads from our forwards, our gaps from our D, our defensive zone coverage, whatever it is, that we're playing well in that area. And then after that, everything else will transpire and build off that. And right now, we'd like some secondary scoring, build off that a little bit. But I think first and foremost, it's how well we defend. Everything else will work out itself out.
What have you seen in Jeff Skinner's game here recently that kind of gives you the confidence to bump him next to McDavid?
Well, last game, I'll just rewind back to the Rangers game, the first period especially. Had a couple scoring chances, drew 2 power plays. I think he's been unfortunate with his goal scoring this year. He's at a lower rate than he usually is. But, he's a player that, when we talk about secondary scoring and guys who can put the puck in the net, he is the guy that we expect can do that. And given the right opportunities. Tonight's a great opportunity for him, playing with Hyman and McDavid, obviously. But we don't want him to get away with the way he's been playing. He's been tenacious. He's been getting into the opposition's getting in low where he's winning those battles for pucks. So keeping pucks alive, that's an important thing. So, yeah, he's been doing a lot of good things.
Maybe a bit more nuanced question about shooting the puck. Like, he's a goal scorer and has been his whole career, so he's going to get his share of shots. When you play with McDavid or Draisaitl on a top line like that, is it okay to just be shooting every chance you get, or do you need to be a little bit more selective, understanding who's out there with you?
I think it's a different mentality. Recently, he's been on a, lines 3 and 4, where it's more simple, direct, funnel pucks to the net, get rebounds, create those kind of opportunities. When you're with McDavid and Leon, it changes a little bit. You don't want to not be shooting pucks, but you want to make the most of when you do have possession of the puck, especially in the offensive zone, and you're not just giving it away for a B or C opportunity. Those guys work very hard to get that puck. They probably made several plays to be in a position to generate a good scoring chance. So you don't want to be just throwing it away just on a marginal shot opportunity.
And just a quick follow-up. How would you say Skinner has been in that regard in the times that you've had him on one of those lines?
I think, like every player, there's been games that has been good, some that have been bad. But I think the biggest thing is being able to possess the puck, especially coming up the ice. So 5 guys ultimately are working the puck up together as a unit. And it's, with McDavid or Leon, not that they don't forecheck with their speed, and they'll work hard, they'll get it, but there's a point where how many times are you going to do that? So it's important to be able to make those passes on the breakout, getting into the centerman's hands so they can carry it in the zone that's where they're most dangerous. That's what really separates their play from an average NHL player, is being able to carry the puck in the zone and make a play.
Hey, Kris, what do you feel is the biggest element of Matias's game that your team missed during his absence?
Well, I think one of the things is on the penalty kill, but I think our penalty kill has been good without him. But I think one of the things is he's an exceptional penalty killer, so when he's not there, that's a huge hole. But, the guys stepped up, and I think they did a really good job in his absence. The other one is just a guy who's able to play other teams' top against other tops units as a shutdown guy. but able to also play with our top guys and be able to transport the puck. He's not just off the glass, keep it safe, not make a mistake kind of guy. He's able to defend extremely well, but able to get Leon, Connor the pucks on good breakout passes.
This will be the first game that you have him since Jake was added to the team. Can you just, it looks like Matias will be back with Evan to start the game. Can you kind of just talk about your thought process in terms of the pairings for tonight's game?
Yeah, tonight there'll be, I assume there'll be a lot of fluctuation with the D pairs. Eki hasn't played for a while. We've got 3 games in the next 5 days, so his workload, I assume, will not be what it typically is, playing a typical 22 to 25 minutes a night, doing that 3 of the next 5 nights after he's had almost 2 weeks off. Probably not the best recipe for him. But again, we have to decide how the games go, and what's tonight, next game, whatever it is. I'm not saying that he won't hit those milestones or those benchmarks, but over a long course of time, we have to be careful with that because we do not want him to go back on the injured reserve. So I think there'll be a lot of mix and matching on who's playing where, and especially now with the abundance of left-handed defensemen.
Recognize that Derek's not going to play tonight, but he has been recalled. Is this a guy that, can he factor back into the equation in terms of potentially getting back in the lineup? And are there some things that maybe he does that aren't always recognizable to everybody because it doesn't just exist on the ice?
Absolutely. Derek Ryan's back with our team, and very good likelihood that he'll be playing games at some point, whether it's injuries or filling in for a role. He does a lot of things. One thing of being a veteran that he is, a smart hockey player, doesn't make very many mistakes, which is important. Now, maybe there's other guys that maybe provide a little more speed, physicality, maybe some more offense, but all-around game, Derek Ryan's as good as anybody in that situation. Another thing that he does a lot for our team, if he does play, is face-offs on the right-hand side. Probably on the right-hand side, he might be the NHL leader on face-offs. I believe he's about 60% on the year, and that's an important factor, especially when the game's late. Key face-offs. He brings a lot of tangibles to our team, like a lot of our forwards do. But I guess we have to decide on what's best for our team, our full group.
Hey, Kris. I just want to ask you, Leon Draisaitl's on the cusp of another 50-goal season. I just want to ask you about his consistency this year. I don't think he has a hat trick this year, but he seems to be scoring almost every other game or every game. How tough is that to do, and how impressive has it been to see just how consistent he's been throughout this season?
Yeah, the season's been remarkable, and Leon's always been one of the best players in the league. It's been known. It's not a secret. It's not a breakout season. This year, for him to be able to score at the rate that he has under so many circumstances, it's not that he's feeding off the power play. He does have a lot of, I believe, 15 power play goals and contributing there. But it's not that he's scoring at a much higher rate on the power play. He's feeding off that. That's leading his offensive production. It's mostly 5-on-5, and he's been able to do it with many wingers, many situations, and not having big games. Like, it's not like he's had a 3 or 4 or 5 goal game like sometimes happens with players who score at that rate. And no easy ones, empty net goals. I'm not sure he's got an empty net goal. And so, it's remarkable that he's been able to do what he's been doing this year. But it's remarkable, but it's not surprising because we know the quality player that he is.
Kris, any chance that Frederick could play this week?
No, there won't be.
And when he does return, do you see him more as a winger or as a center if you've got 4 centers playing tonight?
Yeah, I just had a conversation with Trent about his career in the NHL and where he's played most of his time. He's primarily been a right winger. Key times, he's played a lot of center, especially in the playoffs. This year, he spent most of his time on left wing. So, I think with the acquisition of him at the time, we wanted flexibility. And Same with Wallman. We wanted a defenseman that could play left wing or left side defense and right side. Jake can do that. Same with Trent. We want a guy that can play different situations, whether he's playing top six on one of the wings, or maybe he's our third line center. We've got some time to decide on that. A lot can happen with, we're not happy with our lineup. Somebody's disappointing. Somebody's playing really well, whatever it is. But I think he could play any of those three positions.
And you've got 3 right-shot defensemen, Emberson, Stetcher, and Klingberg. Do you plan on maybe rotating them in so a couple of guys just aren't sitting with the playoffs a month away?
Yeah, there'll be some fluctuation. I don't think it's, if we were to be fortunate enough to go on a 5-6 game winning streak, just stay with the same lineup, as much as we'd like to stay with the same lineup and winning lineup. But I think it's important that those guys also feel included, because we will need them down the road. And whether that rotation, whatever it happens to be, I don't think we've made a decision exactly what it's going to be. But we don't want one guy sitting and being excluded, because we feel all 3 of those guys can come in and give us a little bit different benefit of their game. Everyone provides a little bit different aspect, but we just got to find out what's best and who they're playing best with.
Kris, just at the back. You've used McDavid, Draisaitl, Hopkins, and Henrique as your 4 centers before. This isn't new, but what's the rationale behind trying it now? And do you want to give that a little bit of a run to see kind of what you have in that kind of alignment?
Yeah, we'll see. Obviously center position is really important. You want your best players playing in the middle of the ice. One thing is, when you have your best players all down the middle, there's not enough ice time for all 4 of them. McDavid, Draisaitl are going to play at least 20 minutes. Your third line, fourth line center, it's just not. It's not the same as other teams where they roll their 4 lines. You want to get McDavid and Draisaitl on the ice more, so when they do, and then your other centermen don't see the ice as much. So there's pros and cons of having those 4 down the middle. I think it's great for centermen, but just logistics of running the bench makes it a little more difficult.